guys, welcome back to the channel. Riding down the road, got a little bit of time on my hands, so I figured we'd ramble for a little while. Today I'd like to ramble about some things I saw on the tube, and I do mean the YouTube. Since this Afghanistan uprising has taken over, it seems like even the mainstream media recognizes how valuable YouTube is in spreading their message and getting their narrative across. So anytime you hit the YouTube refresh button, it usually shows you 8, maybe 10 pages on the screen. It's a pretty good guess 6 of those are going to be some kind of a news feed, which is, whatever. But there was one that I saw, and they had a little PowerPoint up there showing the anguish and the pain that the people of Afghanistan are going through. And it had 3 separate topics. I can't remember all of them. I should have took a picture of it. I did do a screenshot and saved it on the computer, but as you can see, I'm driving, so I can't reference that knowledge. But it was something to the fact of 2, 3, 4, 500,000 Afghani children are suffering from malnutrition because of this. This amount of females are being, beat up and thrown off roofs because of this, and all this oppression that's going on because of the Taliban regime coming back in and taking over. And I just want to, everything's relative, okay? So there's 500,000 Afghan children suffering from malnutrition. Okay, malnutrition is a process. It's a process where the body has been starved for an extended period of time, and it basically starts feeding on itself. Your body will actually feed on your own fat reserves and things like that. That's malnutrition. Taliban just took over 4 or 5 days ago. So if anything, they're hungry. Okay, they're not malnourished. So yeah, it's another example of mainstream media tugging on those purse strings and those heartstrings and shoving a narrative down your throat. Here's the thing. How about a reality check, people? For the last 20 years we've been there. For the last 20 years, so has the Taliban. They didn't go anywhere. They might have changed their turban and changed their man dress and smiled when the troops walked by. They definitely smiled and held their hands out on payday activities when we dispersed millions and millions and millions of dollars throughout the countryside to nation build. All that money. Everybody wonders how the Taliban is so well supplied. Well, we did it. They took the money that we were nation building. That went straight to the Taliban. I mean, don't get it twisted. Don't think it did something else, because it didn't. I mean, where do you think it went? I mean, if we're providing everything, if we're building the roads, the infrastructures, the sidewalks, the buildings, the schools, and everything else, and we're giving the mayors of these little villages a few $100,000 a month, they don't need to spend. I mean, come on, we know where it was going. All right, people, wake up. I mean, it's not like there's an Afghani national savings bank that was opened up an account for every single person that lived on a mountainside in the woods that we were giving money to. That ain't how it works. All right, so yeah, and the narrative is, honestly, it's people believe this crap. Excuse my language. People literally are glued to the TV right now, going off about how could the president do this. Look, we all knew he was incompetent when he was selected for office. Even the people that voted for him the day after the election went, what just happened? Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, we've known he was incompetent since the day he took office. We know that. It's playing to the narrative. There has to be a fall guy for this big shift and this big change. Somebody has to be held to blame. He's the patsy. It is what it is. We all know it. He probably knows it. He just forgets it every morning when he wakes up. That Alzheimer's is something else. But yeah, so it is kind of a unique situation when you look back at how the Taliban wouldn't negotiate with anybody, talk to anybody, this, that, and the other. It was all me. Then the current administration reneged on the treaty that was put in place by Mr. Trump that was supposed to have taken place in May. They reneged on that, so now this is the mess that we got. They reneged on our treaty, so China reached out. Now they're buddies with China. yeah, that's a bad thing. And did a little research, and somebody brought it up to me the other night in the live stream, and it was something I didn't know about because I try to stay away from this crap. But Afghanistan is super, super, super wealthy in rare earth minerals and things like that. And I believe they have like one of the largest lithium deposits on the planet. And for those of you that don't know, lithium is what goes into making all these batteries that run these green cars that are being shoved down our throats. Lithium is the main component in those batteries. So lithium is at a premium right now. And Afghanistan has a whole bunch of it. So for the last 20 years that we've been there nation building, instead of working on treaties and maybe securing mineral rights and this and that and the other to have access to this lithium, no, we didn't do that. We just fed more money to the machine, to the war machine, and made our own little clique of oligarchs here in the United States that control 99% of the wealth, while the rest of us peasants are slaving and toiling out in the fields and doing what we're supposed to do as good peasants. So now China has more than likely either secured or is well on the way to securing the rights to mine and refine this lithium, which means they will be the powerhouse in the foreseeable future, because everything's going green. Everything needs the lithium. Your cell phones, your computers, your laptops. I mean, there's it's all over the place. It's the blood of technology. I think I'll coin that phrase. Lithium is the blood of technology. That sounds really cool. But yeah, so look for some major changes. And if you look at the news streams of the Taliban, you see them, sitting at a table, well dressed, behaved, well mannered, not, going crazy. I mean, there's even talk of not reprising against the Afghan people that supported the American occupation. There's even talk of being more tolerant to women and women's rights. This all comes from China. Now the Taliban's going to establish their own nation, their own flag, and they're seeking to be recognized. And half of the populated world will recognize them. All of the Muslim world will recognize them as a solid nation. But now you've got China and other nations, probably Russia, is going to recognize them because they have a significant power vacuum going on there. So it's going to be very, very interesting in the next 3 to 6 months to see the cream rise to the top, so to speak. Stay focused, stay vigilant, keep prepping. Like I said before, none of this stuff is in your circle or my circle of influence. There's nothing we can do about it. But it does not hurt to stay apprised of the situation. But when you're getting all this information, not intel, when you're getting all this information shoved in your face, you want to kind of try to look through it and pick and choose the valid things that make sense. Do a little bit of research, get some background on it, and make sure it's true. And you decide what is actual intel and what is just information, background noise. Because remember, Gray Man said it last week on his live stream, news companies, news channels, whether it be on television, on print, or on the internet, they are not responsible for telling you the truth. They are not legally required to tell you the truth. They are not obligated to be honest about anything. Just like the police, according to a judge a few months or maybe a year or so back, ruled on the simple fact that the police officers they do not have to protect and serve you. They're not legally required to protect you. So old times, they are changing, folks. But take in as much information as you can tolerate. Put your blinders on. Make sure your bullcrap meter has fresh batteries in it. They run off lithium, by the way. And try to sort through the crap and try to get a good direction and get your mind in the right place to deal with all the stuff that's coming down the pipe, because it's going to get interesting. I promise you, it's going to get worse before it gets better. You guys have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with me. So I rambled for a little while.